Ever since we were given a glimpse at what gameplay could look like in Paralives, I've been imagining how my rotational, heavy storyline-based playstyle will work in-game. One element of Paralives is already proven to have many possibilities in terms of storytelling. Our first look at careers was in the gameplay reveal, where we were introduced to the basics of being hired and progressing through the ranks. With the addition of a now public Patreon post, it's hard not to dive into how this new information translates to enjoyable gameplay. Mind you, what we were shown was very surface level. Still, it's enough to get me to play Paralives in my head just to stand the wait until 2025. The evolution of working your way up in a career doesn't feel as linear as we've been used to. It almost gives me the feeling of choosing your own adventure. Depending on your pair's skill or previous work experience, you can start from rank 1 or at rank 15 if the position is available. You get the job if you're qualified, and this is where the mini tree branches start to show. You decide how your pair's job has effects on their life and personality. At the end of every shift, you are awarded a single upgrade point. You can then choose one out of 3 options that changes an aspect of a job. The first option is an upgrade in your rank, which directly increases the salary. Basically, each day your pair will be making a little more than the previous shift. I'm trying really hard not to let my own preferences change my perception of a new idea, especially if my only gripe is that I like how something's been done in other games. But I have to admit, the idea of making more money and increasing your rank every day sounds kind of easy. Still, I'm not just going to throw out my complaints and make it the developer's problem. I took a look back and found an old clip that might just justify the reasoning for this creative decision. I will have a lot more to say about this later in this video. The second choice out of the 3 gives you the option of adding to your application points by unlocking or upgrading an existing expertise. This directly correlates to your resume and what positions your para is qualified to apply for. Can I just pause to say, an in-game resume system sounds like a request that's too specific and would cost more energy to add in than the effect it would have on gameplay. Serious props for the Paralives team for adding a resume system that is simplistic and shows itself in gameplay. The last upgrade you can choose from is to unlock a new extra. I see these as perks or incentives outside of a salary increase to go to work. They showcase how this can work with the example of certain tasks your para is assigned to complete that could allow them to level up in certain skills. I think a resume system deserves its own moment right now. There's a part of the Patreon post that gives me butterflies when I think of this game being released. Under the changing jobs to progressing your career section, it reads, just like in real life, you might start your career at a workplace that is great for new workers but has limited growing opportunities. That's why you will be able to find and apply to jobs in different workplaces, and this will be a great way to progressing your career, get a big salary increase, and unlock greater perks. This is starting from the bottom and adding such a realistic twist that just makes sense. How many times have we created a character who had a dream to be at the top of their desired field of work? A 5-star chef, a prolific writer, a CEO of a mega corporation? Well, it takes some qualifications and work experience to get your foot in the door in these specific fields when playing Paralives. Your para has big dreams, but not the knowledge it takes to make it happen. So at the start of the game, it might not be possible to jump into their preferred line of work. You might have to start serving tables to at least gain the basics. That job might not not teach you everything you need to know, so your para can take the application points they've earned and move on to a position that can offer more work experience. Can you see how this easily can lead the player to strategize the best way to make it in life? If working your way through jobs and careers in Paralives makes me use my brain just a little more to decide the path my para can take in just one portion of their life, then I can see years of staying power for this game. For me personally, I am a huge realism lover but not an extremist. I love it when gameplay simulates real life while keeping it fun and inviting. The application system on paper sounds really detailed, that can lean towards feeling more tedious, but I think the cozy atmosphere of Paralives might combat this. Plus, a system like this gives the player freedom to play how they want. You choose to fully strategize what will be the fastest track to a successful career, or you can slow it down and enjoy the journey for the story you're trying to tell. My first watch of the gameplay reveal, I was mainly focused on trying to understand why you would choose any of the other upgrade options besides a salary increase. Not wanting to fall into the trap of not liking something I don't understand, I gave my mind a second to catch up, and I can finally see unlocking an extra is such a fun little feature. In the Patreon post, unlocking a new extra is described as, extras don't give more money, but they give various perks that allow your para to have other reasons than just money to go to work. Honestly, such a smart decision to add another reason for working besides monetary gain. Say your para doesn't have the greatest work ethic but has more passion in their hobbies and wants to develop their skills. An interesting example of this is stated in the post. For instance, if you're in the party planning committee, your para will socialize while working, and if your para is tasked with watering the plants at the office, they will slowly increase their gardening skill while working. There are tons of stories you can create with an alternative motivation for going to work. My favorite would be a para who is into the more natural parts of life. They work a corporate job in a lower rank because they have to pay bills just like everyone else, but really their heart belongs in nature, which would be convenient if they were tasked with watering the office plants. They continue to gain skills that benefit their personal hobbies while making enough money to survive. Once their home garden starts to flourish and can make a real income, they can quit their corporate job and focus on what really matters to them. Now, this is very narrative heavy, so if you're into a more completionist style of play, I can't see a better option than gaining skills while you make money. It's really the smaller details that can create so many paths and styles of how to enjoy your game. This makes me very curious of what other gameplay norms they can put a small creative twist to what we're used to. I'll keep my eye open for that because these details are starting to feel they're the first of many. One of the first presumptions I made was the daily rate seemed a little higher than what I would expect. We were shown the end of 2 shifts, and by rank 2 it seemed the para was making enough money to earn a comfortable living. Yet this was an immediate observation I had when seeing the daily rates for the first time. How do I know if a para can live comfortably with this amount of pay? It's important to note there is a high chance these rates we see are not final. I would be surprised if the pay for careers wasn't tweaked from now until early access. What I'm really concerned about is how often there is a salary increase. Will a para no longer have to budget their funds after a couple of work days? My questions do feel like observations that I have no doubt the team has put much thought into. So what do we do when we don't understand something? We do a little research. There was a teaser posted back in 2019 showcasing the law editing tool. I just want to say this feature still blows my mind. The fact that we can create our own lot sizes is crazy enough. I would have settled for preset sizes we can choose to place down. This is just the next level in creative customization. Returning to the topic at hand, when resizing the lots, you notice the price of each lot is higher than what I would expect. Quick callback to my previous point, I'm pretty sure this has changed since August 2019, but if the pricing will be around this range, this begs the question if the economy of Paralives demands higher daily rates to create balance. I don't do well with numbers and won't even try to figure out what a para could afford based on what we've been shown. Out of fear of getting something wrong, I'll leave solving this equation to those who feel comfortable. We have no idea what the cost of living is for the para folk. That lack of knowledge knowledge alone makes me hesitate to have any opinion on job earnings. Instead, I'm really curious about the financial aspect of the game. I would love to see a revisit of the lot editing feature. What's the price of a starter home compared to a mid-range family home? What is the scale for in-game purchases like buying a coffee or ordering a service to help out with household chores? Less than 5 minutes of research turned one of my biggest concerns into anticipation to learn about something that I never put much thought into. Maybe the rates we see are pennies compared to how much a para could spend in a day. I have a feeling understanding the economy of Paralives will be something we discover while playing and won't have its own showcase. There's something so satisfying about the struggle of figuring out how to grow from only buying the necessities to survive to spoiling your characters with their earnings. Honestly, I can't wait to start saying Paralives is too hard when we get our hands on the game. There could be a huge learning curve. Jobs in Paralives have so many levels of gameplay that I felt they deserve to be analyzed and speculate on tons of ways we can enjoy the specifics of making money and progressing in a career. There were even more details I didn't cover that were included in the Patreon post. A lot of fun little features that's definitely the surface of jobs and upgrades, as we were only given a preview reveal. The gameplay reveal allowed many more Patreon posts related to live mode to go public. It's been 5 long years of content released about Paralives that needs to be talked about. If anyone is familiar with their Patreon, what are some public Patreon posts you feel deserves a spotlight? There's some topics that I completely forgot about as they were posted some time ago. I've seen so many questions asked that's been answered in a previous post now made public. Not everyone chooses to use Patreon, so maybe this could help share something you never knew. We can't play the game now, but it makes the anticipation a little easier to stand if we can appreciate the amazing things that are soon to come.